I didn't. All right. Not all right. I think I might be able to hear us. Oh, yeah, I think I can.
Good.
Can y'all hear us? Good. Yes, it is good. Gather, 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 gather.
Just popped up.
We popped up.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, hey.
Kelly Turkel
Welcome, Kelly. Oh,
and my sister.
yay. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, everybody. So,
Yay.
you know what?
Oh.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
Kelly, my sister.
And Lisa, I keep forgetting to text you, but I need to ask you about your eyebrows. A total non sequitur, but I need to do that.
Okay.
All right. Also, let's see. We are excited. There was big news dropped today, so we're gonna get into that.
And you know what we did when we saw it being dropped?
Oh no.
We picked it up.
Yes, we did.
We did.
Meredith has
And
her.
Meredith-
Ooh. She has hay. Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on.
You've inspired us to for this little purchase right over here, Meredith. So hang on. My sister is saying, okay, can I say on here? Say what? The big news. Big, ginormous.
Huge.
All right. Guess what we just got? Hey, everybody. Look at that. We've been talking all week about
My
bringing
God.
Hey onto the live recordings, then we forgot.
It's so cute.
And,
Oh my
and
God.
guess what? He smells good too.
He does.
He smells like Hey.
He smells like Moana, spirit of Motunui. Guess what? Says your sister.
What? Tell him what this is.
Oh, this is a Scentsy product. And I've heard of Scentsy, and I saw like pictures of Baby Yodas and stuff, but our friend Teresa Delgado is now a Scentsy consultant, and I did a party, and a lot of you, thank you, supported us and bought a bunch of stuff. Anyway, and I bought this. I bought Scentsy. This is a Scentsy Buddy, is what it's called. It's really an excuse to have a stuffed animal that smells good.
We never had a Hey. Oddly enough, we never had a Hey before. Guess what? Chicken butts. I didn't. I'm reading the Sky Chat.
Lisa! All right. Oh, and Kelly Turkel got a Pua. The Pua, you know, the pig.
Yeah.
It's so adorable too, Kelly. Like that. Like I've never been drawn to Pua as a character, but that particular Scentsy Buddy looks so cute. I almost want one to go with my Hey because
My sister's asking if that is a friend of SpongeBob.
No.
That's not Sandy.
This is from Moana, the Disney film Moana, and it's that little chicken that's stupid and like doesn't like he's so stupid he doesn't know what to eat. You have to, and he's voiced by
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk.
K2SO.
Yes.
So yes,
I
we
had to share.
now have a Hey.
Yes. Also, in other news, because we are, we sell stuff. So I sell nails. I sell Color Street nails, and they just released today some licensed collegiate nails. So you can get USC nail strips. You can get UT. You can get Texas A&M. You can get there are like 25 college schools that you can get these nail strips, and they're super cute. So if anyone has questions about that, comment. I'll give you the link. Actually, it's totally heroicnails.com. You can check that out.
How much of a kickback those schools get by leasing out
Well,
their name?
so the nail strips are $2 more than the usual nail strips.
well, there you
so
go.
there you go. That's their kickback, is whatever percentage that is of the nail strips. So there you go.
And how do they pick what colleges?
How do they pick? Oh, they went to most colleges around the U.S. and said, "Hey, do you want to do this license?" And whoever said yes in time, they did it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So for those of you who are like, "Oh, my college is not on there," well, they missed out. So I think this is the first time they're doing that. So, and hopefully this is a stepping stone for Color Street to get a Disney license, because I really want some Disney nails. All right.
Okay, and Don is saying you can get UT, but hopefully not UTI.
Thanks, Don.
And Meredith is saying 3 weeks. Until what?
For D23 Expo, I'm guessing. I think so, because she's going to be here. She's super excited.
Yeah, it's about a little over 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
I
Oh
know.
my goodness.
Yeah, exciting.
Can't wrap my head around that. That's the 10th and 11th.
Yes, and this week we need to make our reservations for the various panels we want to go to.
Oh, okay.
Like, we haven't even got a chance to do that. I know reservations opened yesterday. But you
Oh,
can
yeah?
make it all week.
That is a great system.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
like
great
that.
system. Whereas before you had, first come, first serve, or
Yep.
they would close very quickly.
It was first come, first serve, and the people who got on first got to choose everything they wanted, and the people who got on last, like us, were left with slim pickings.
And these are
So,
the panels.
yeah,
where
panels.
Now you have what, a week to get your name in there for the lottery?
Yes.
That is a great system.
And they're not allowing overnight, lines, anything like that. So, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of people really like the lines.
Yeah, but then you had no sleep. So,
Well,
yeah.
they're fun for the youngins.
Yes.
When you're in your 20s, oh yeah. Sleep on cement, you party.
I mean, well, even in our 30s, we had a great time. All right, but
Yeah, but
Will we-
it was like going to New York City to watch the ball drop. You do that once.
Mhm.
Once. And that's it.
Yeah,
You
that's true.
You sleep on the ground once.
You
That
don't-
was like, what, 2015?
No, wasn't it 2008 or 2009?
No, I'm sorry, for D23.
Oh, D23 was what?
We slept in that line,
Oh, yeah.
or stayed in that line.
Yeah, because I would watch Twitter and, like, see when people were, like, lining up, and I'd be like, oh, we got to leave at, like, 2 a.m. today. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, New York, that was 2007.
Yeah. New York was... You do that once. See the ball drop. You had to get there at, like, 3:30 p.m. to get any kind of a good spot in the whole vicinity. And once you're there,
Once in
you
Times
can't
Square.
leave. Yeah, once you're in Times Square,
Yeah.
you can't leave.
And-
Or you lose your spot. There's no bathroom. There's no president. There's no seats. You're just stuck in this...
So if you never do this,
Massive
don't
group
worry
of
about
people.
it. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I did not pee for a long time.
But the guy next to us did.
And this is what we remember.
Connect the dots. Oh, that was miserable. Of course, when the ball dropped at midnight, it was.
It was cool.
I was like, oh, look at, and the
And-
confetti just dropped for about 35, 40 minutes.
And they
just kept
also
on coming down.
They also had like all the performers, right? And
Yeah.
they would be walked off stage like near us.
Oh,
So
we didn't.
got to
No,
see
we
all-
didn't see any of them.
No?
we did not see any of the performers. They were saying,
saw them
coming
walking.
up, Kelly Clarkson. Oh, okay, good. And then half an hour later, all right, let's hear it for Kelly Clarkson. She didn't go on yet, so they didn't project these transmissions.
No.
What was going on the other part of the
Right.
of Times Square.
I thought we
No,
could
we
see them.
saw no closed circuit TVs.
All right, well.
Horrible.
We saw
Oh,
the ball drop cuz it's above us.
Yeah. Other than that, don't. It's like camping at Carnation Cafe for fireworks.
Okay.
It
yeah.
was.
All right.
I'm getting all agitated.
Woo. Oh, don't get agitated. No. All right, so let's start. Let's talk. We're gonna talk She-Hulk and we're gonna talk Magic Keys, you guys, and we're gonna give you a primer.
Yeah. So
on She-Hulk.
with She-Hulk, there's not really any spoilers.
No, it's
We're gonna go over we saw 4 episodes, but we're just gonna give our thoughts on the first episode, and then we're gonna give a primer to her origin starting in 1980.
Yeah, so this is actually good to know.
Yes.
Going into the
Yeah,
series.
these are the kind of episodes that I would want to listen to before going into a show like this, just so I can have a little bit of a background.
Yeah. So, are we ready?
I think so.
Are you sure? Are you all hot and bothered now? You all upset?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Oh, just thinking about that New Year's Eve. Oh my goodness. And you wanted to go at 3:30. I said, yeah, let's get there around 5. Yeah, 3:30 we were late. Ugh. Okay.
This is
It's out
what.
of my system now.
Okay.
If we never go okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're never going back.
No, please.
Especially not now. with pandemic
Oh.
stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
Could you imagine? Oh.
No, I can't.
Oh, see, now I need to take a shower.
Okay, here we go. This is what you can look forward to on episode 384 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Hey, Skywalkers! Do you need a good lawyer? Better not call Saul, but Jennifer Walters, attorney at law. If you have superpowers and need defending, better call She-Hulk. But first, we want to welcome you back to Skywalking Through Neverland. Did you hear how my voice just cracked like Peter Brady?
I did, and I have to say that if you're listening to this as a podcast, you really need to watch us live because we just had a whole conversation before we started recording. That was really fun. So make sure you sign up for our YouTube channel, Skywalking Through Neverland, and turn on those notifications, Skywalkers.
I am Richard Woloski, and now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who's now got a hey-hey to cuddle with.
I do have a little hey-hey buddy. It's a Scentsy buddy, and I love him. And he smells good.
Smells like a chicken.
He smells like the spirit of Moltenui.
That too.
All right, Skywalkers. Well, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel fandom. So it's time for your Wookiee Hug of the Week. And your sprinkle of pixie dust. And a little hey-hey from Hey Hey. And you are our family of Skywalkers. And if you're listening right now or watching us on YouTube, then you are now a Skywalker. So join us and the rest of our family on a fun and positive adventure through fandom.
Now, we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency and can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world and on the Galactic Star Cruiser, maybe and/or. Oh, there's a whole tie-in right there. They can go to a Disney park, or they can go to Galactic Star Cruiser, and/or see Andor. What? Okay, best of all, this service is free of charge, so head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you, and please stay hydrated and stay inside. This heat is making us really wacky and making our voice crack.
Yes.
That's where the punchiness comes in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and speaking of heat, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on August 16th, 2022. Woo! So, what happened this week in Star Wars history, Richard?
Well, you know what? I'm going to back up, okay?
Oh.
All right. So, a couple of weeks ago, we had mentioned it was Kevin Smith's birthday. And we mentioned the debate he had about the contractors working on the Death Star and Return of the Jedi. And were they innocent victims, or should they have known the risk of putting themselves in the middle of this galactic war and turned down the job? Well, Mike Celestino reached out. He had some thoughts on this very subject. And he had commented that George Lucas addressed this topic on the Attack of the Clones DVD commentary.
Perfect.
Now, remember in Attack of the Clones, we see the Death Star schematic in the Geonosian base?
Yes.
Well, then, it makes sense that the Geonosians built the Death Star.
Oh.
And the second Death Star was being built the same time as the first one.
Okay.
So it makes sense. You don't just build one and then the other and then the other. You build them all at the same time. Now, apparently, in the beginning, in the rough draft of Return of the Jedi, when Lucas was writing the script, there was three Death Stars.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Would have loved to have seen 2 more Death Stars pop up in Return of the Jedi. All right, so let's listen to what George Lucas has got to say about this.
I can't wait.
We had this sequence, and because we added it, I came up with the idea of adding a little schematic of the Death Star in here, because the Geonosians build robots and build things. They're sort of the construction workers. They would be the ones that would probably be contracted to build the Death Star. And they were the ones that Jay and Silent Bob worried that they got killed on the Death Star, but they are, after all, just a bunch of large termites.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Wow, George.
Okay, yes, they are large termites, but as we see in the Clone Wars series, they were under Dooku's thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And they had really no choice but to build the Death Stars.
And they are sentient creatures, no matter.
Yes, they're bugs, and they can get under your skin. However, at the time of Return of the Jedi, the Geonosians were all wiped out by Dooku. When he needed a building site, he chose Geonosis and pretty much had committed genocide.
Whoa.
And wiped them all out. So the contractors killed during the time when the second Death Star blew up, well, they were not Geonosians, but still should those contractors have known. So I'm kind of tying in a couple of conversations here. So those Geonosians weren't on the Death Star when it blew up. They may have designed it and done a lot of the preliminary work, but the contractors on the Death Star, those weren't Geonosians.
Okay. Oh.
So
all right, so we're back to the same
question. Should they have known better or turn the job down? And since they took the job and they were killed, like, well, you see what you were getting yourself into, right? Or were they slaves of the Empire? But how many slaves can you get to actually build a Death Star? How much contracting knowledge do they have? And I'm sure they had gone to different planets and enslaved engineers. I don't know why they just didn't keep the Geonosians around. They was very short-sighted. Palpatine should have told Dooku, hey, you know what? We're going to need these guys. Don't wipe them all out. So maybe this is a topic in Kevin Smith's upcoming Clerks 3.
I look forward.
We gotta finish this conversation up. So the conversation still hasn't been resolved.
I look forward to that.
Good. Okay, so that is what happened 2 weeks ago in Star Wars history.
All right, well, now it's time to Hulk out with a She-Hulk comic book primer and our thoughts on the latest Disney Plus Marvel series, She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
Boom.
All right. Bam. All right. So I'm going to put this logo up, Skywalkers. Also, later, I'm going to put up the Magic Key logo. So if you happen to tune in when we're talking about Magic Keys, I'll make sure that logo is up as well.
Nice.
All right, here we go. All right, so we always like to know a little bit about where these Marvel characters come from in the comics, and it kind of helps inform what we see in these Marvel series.
Plus, we can compare and contrast what has come before it in the comics and how they take it into the series or the films.
Yes. So, She-Hulk has a very interesting origin story in the comics. She first appeared in 1980's Savage She-Hulk comic. This was created by Stan Lee and John Buscema. And what's interesting about this creation is because she was created because of the success of the Incredible Hulk TV series. So Marvel executives were afraid that the TV show would introduce a female Hulk because of the popular Bionic Woman show going on at the same time. So Marvel wanted to make sure that they published their own idea of the character first so that they owned the rights to She-Hulk before CBS could.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
It does. But how cool is that? Like, character is created because of these legal reasons, and it's a legal character. So, neat.
See, it always comes down to contracts
It does.
and the lawyers, oddly enough, to show about a lawyer.
Yes, yes. So her origin story in the comics is, her name is Jennifer Walters. Now, this is the same as the TV series. She's the cousin of Bruce Banner. Now, in the comics, Walters was a successful defense lawyer working in LA before she attained her powers, and one day Bruce was visiting her in LA, but she was gunned down by gangsters looking to silence her client before he testified against them. So, to save her life, Bruce gave her a transfusion of his own irradiated blood, so that left her with the ability to transform into the Hulk version of herself when she became angry in the comics. So her powers are very similar to Bruce Banner. She can transform into the Hulk. If she's overloaded with gamma rays, she transforms to a savage form of the Hulk that's as bulky and unstoppable as the original Hulk, but otherwise she's not quite as Well, otherwise, she can transform and maintain her intelligence and self-control as Jennifer Walters as the Hulk. So she doesn't have this alter ego that Bruce Banner does.
So she's like Smart Hulk.
She is. She's like Smart Hulk, but right away. She didn't need that whole process of getting there that Bruce Banner did, which is really neat. And also, another thing in the comics, Hulk is Bruce Banner's repressed rage, basically coming out as the Green Monster. But She-Hulk is it's Jennifer Walters' more assertive and confident side. Because in the comics, as an attorney, she's more like this little mousy attorney. And so the Hulk brings out her confidence.
It's kind of like Selena Kyle and Catwoman.
Yes.
We've been rewatching the Batman movies. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Okay. And so this reminds me of the Michelle Pfeiffer, Selena Kyle, Catwoman, where she was very mousy as the assistant to Christopher Walken.
Yes.
And then becomes this other assertive, vicious character.
I'll say, yes.
Yeah, but when you compare the two, I prefer the She-Hulk version.
Indeed. Now, this is really funny. She has powers as Hulk, but she also has what's the reverse of having power? She also has
no powers.
No, like you have good points and bad points.
Cons.
She has a con, and that is in her comic series. She not only has her own comic series, she had a couple of them, but she appears in a bunch of other different comics. And in all these guest appearances, she usually has bad luck with cars. Which is funny. Like, she gets in accidents or something happens, or something with cars always happens with her. And just a little hint, that's referenced in the TV series as well.
Yeah. if that's your biggest con, you're doing pretty well in life.
It's true. So in the comic book run, she actually became more prevalent on the Avengers team than Hulk did himself. Yeah. And
well, she has more to offer.
She does, yeah, because she's Smart Hulk, right? She's the smart version. And she's also a highly skilled lawyer, so she frequently leveraged her legal and personal experience to serve as legal counsel to various superheroes and other metahumans.
Well, that makes sense right there, because they're always getting in trouble.
Indeed.
And in 2022, they're in trouble for just looking at somebody. Or if they don't say please or thank you to a supervillain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see you in court.
Yeah, so she's been part of the Fantastic Four, Heroes for Hire, the Defenders, and S.H.I.E.L.D., as well as the Avengers. All right, so beyond the 1980 comic, she also appeared in the 1989 comic, The Sensational She-Hulk by John Byrne. And now here...
John Byrne.
John Byrne.
Yes.
Now here, in this second solo series, this is what introduced the fourth wall break. Before Deadpool, you guys, before Deadpool, she was aware that she was a comic book character, and the comic also referenced popular culture. So, as an example, in 1991, the Vanity Fair cover...
With Demi Moore. She's nude, and she's pregnant, and she's holding herself in, and...
Yeah, this is a very famous cover from Vanity Fair. And so, in issue number 40 of the She-Hulk, it's a cover of She-Hulk, and her private parts are blurred out as she is depicted jumping rope on the cover, and that is implying that the character is nude. And when you go open the comic book pages, she's actually not nude in those scenes. She's wearing a bra, or what is that called?
A workout bra?
No, it's a swimsuit.
That's what's gonna get the guys looking at this comic.
Yeah.
Hope they put it in like a brown wrapper or a cellophane wrapper, so you couldn't look inside and go, oh, okay, never mind. Yeah.
Also, another example of referencing of pop culture. So in 1998's Heroes for Hire, number 14, She-Hulk is seen firing the narrator of the comic for being useless. And the narrator is like fighting with her back and protesting and tries to convince her that the narrator is Stan Lee, and then Stan Lee's girlfriend, and then Monica Lewinsky. So this is the late 90s. So it's referencing pop culture. And this all takes place in the comic in front of Luke Cage and Scott Lang, who's Ant-Man, but they're only hearing her side of the things. They don't hear the narrator.
Right.
So they're making like reference to that.
listening to a phone conversation
Yes.
when someone's on the phone.
Yeah. So expect some of these pop culture references and fourth wall breaks in the She-Hulk TV series because it's intrinsically a part of her comic character.
They've always been really good at keeping up with pop culture. When Steve Rogers had that notebook full of movies to watch, and
Yes.
Star Wars was on there, and in the Eternals, they mentioned Batman and Superman, and the little boy's got a Star Wars coloring book.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is a Marvel. That is actually I love that Marvel does that. Like there's a place for a galaxy far, far away, and that's where you have your fantasy world and things like that, things you can imagine. But I love that Marvel grounds things so in our reality.
Well, I love the little dig in Eternals by mentioning Batman and Superman. They're saying they're part of pop culture and they're not real superheroes. So they put them in their place. Oh, snap.
That's a good point. Oh my gosh.
But they did mention that they did see Batgirl on the big screen. The whole different multiverse that we'll never see. Too soon?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Natalie Holt did the music for that, you guys. I'm so sad.
Yeah, well, you know what? Her check cleared.
I hope so.
Moving right along.
All right, now, the 2004 comic series. This is the last comic series in which She-Hulk had her own comic series, and this one really is the basis for the show that you're going to see on Disney Plus, because this comic is a combination superhero story and legal comedy that focuses on She-Hulk's career working as a lawyer who specializes in superhero cases. So, in this comic series, she represented innocent villains and Spider-Man, and it also focuses on her brilliant legal mind as a superpower just as much as her Hulk strength, which I think is neat.
Yeah. We haven't gotten there just yet in the series,
Yeah.
but we're only a couple of
Yeah.
episodes in.
Exactly. All right, so do you want to hear some fun facts?
Always?
Okay, you're going to love this. So,
Okay.
Well, first of all, the first fun fact is she is an alumni of UCLA. So, right there across town, not my alma mater,
No.
the one that we fought against at USC, but still. And okay, so this is a very exciting fun fact, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
One of the cases that She-Hulk has taken on is Howard the Duck versus Lucas. And do you know what this is referencing?
Yes, I do. So Howard wanted to sue George Lucas over movie rights.
Yes, and this is covered in a comic.
That better be an episode. That better be an episode.
That would be awesome.
But you know what? Sorry, Howard, you did sign your rights and likeness over to George Lucas and Universal Studios, so you should have thought that one through.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, I'm siding with Lucas on that one.
Oh.
And then in another episode of the She-Hulk, spoiler alert, She-Hulk is going to defend Hulk against the Disco Devils.
Oh.
If you heard, apparently you didn't. Last week, Skywalking Through Neverland, where we did a classic Marvel Star Wars comics, and there was a Marvel Hostess crossover.
Oh.
The Hulk had to fight the Disco Devils, the
Yes.
70s roller skating gang.
Mm-hmm, I get it now.
Okay, so just to let you know that episode's not going to happen. But they should reference those Hostess Marvel crossover villains. They really should.
That would be so funny. Wow.
All right, now I got to go search out this issue.
I know.
I want to know how this turns out.
Me too.
All right, now let's give a synopsis of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law on Disney Plus, premiering on August the 18th.
Woohoo! So, at heart, this new Marvel Disney Plus series is a 30-minute comedy which follows the beats of a really enjoyable half-hour comedy series. So, Jennifer Walters, played by Tatiana Maslany, is a single 30-something woman. She has a career as an attorney in LA, but not only must she navigate dating and her job, but she also recently became imbued with Hulk powers and can transform into a green 6'7" Hulk. and consequently, she becomes head of the specialty division of a legal firm focusing on superhuman-oriented legal cases.
Now, before we go on, let's read this comment here by Don Glover. Does this mean that Howard the Duck managed to make it back from the Collector's ruined fortress? Seeing how this was 2004 when that issue was published.
Actually, it
And
might have been in the 90s run. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, it probably was in the 90s run.
So, do you know what we say then? Multiverse.
Yes. Exactly.
Now, do you agree with this 30-minute comedy format?
I absolutely do.
Not whatsoever.
Oh,
Not whatsoever.
wow.
I don't see that at all.
I see it totally.
No, it's
I like it.
For me, it's more of a dramedy.
Really?
Yeah, kind of like Ally McBeal. It's more like Ally McBeal than a 30-minute comedy where you have the same tropes. This doesn't have the same comedy sitcom tropes like what we saw in WandaVision. They crystallized that 30-minute comedy sitcom of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s perfectly, with all the tropes included. This one here, no, not so much. It's
I feel each episode has a pattern that they follow each other, especially after you get past the first one. But we'll talk about this a little later. We'll talk about this later. Okay.
I got hung up there because I know I see that a lot, but I just do not agree with that
Yes.
at all.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, this series is 9 episodes long and includes appearances by familiar faces like Mark Ruffalo. He returns as Bruce Banner, the Hulk.
I get a bone to pick with him
Why?
because he was the one that just said that the Marvel series are different every time,
Oh.
whereas with the Star Wars series, the visual language is the same every time. No, that's I don't agree with that, and you don't get the same series. Wait till you see Andor, and you're gonna change your tune, Mark Ruffalo. And that quote came out right before we watched the first episode, so all I'm thinking is, She-Hulk, beat him, She-Hulk,
Aw.
beat some sense into that pig head.
All right. Well, besides Mark Ruffalo.
Sorry, I had to get that out.
No problem. Besides Mark Ruffalo, Tim Roth returns as Emil Blonsky / the Abomination. Now, Richard, do you remember
Not
Emil
whatsoever.
Blonsky?
Not so well. That's. I'm guessing he was in the Ed Norton
Incredible.
film,
Yes.
the Hulk or the Incredible Hulk, one of the two. Someone in the Sky Chat help us out here.
I'll say yes, he was. I did look it up.
Oh,
Yes.
then why did you ask?
I just wanted you to contribute.
I've been giving my 2 cents.
You have. Who else appears in this series, Richard?
Well, if I can contribute, then I'm gonna say that Benedict Wong returns as Wong.
Yes, indeed. And he's been in quite a few of these Marvel movies and TV shows,
He's
too.
been in pretty much every single film since Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, Meredith is confirming, yes, the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk film. Or was that just the Hulk? It was the Ang Lee Hulk, and then there
No,
was
it's
the
the Incredible Hulk.
Edward Norton Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, it's the Incredible Hulk. Also, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. I'm smart. She's been commenting, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the time difference kind of, yeah. But thank you, Lisa.
All right, now with that, let's go over the very first episode of She-Hulk. And there's not really any spoilers here.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, no twists. So this is something that I wished I had heard before going into this.
Okay. All right. Well, do you want to explain what happens?
Now, as of now, the episodes don't have names.
Right. We weren't given names in our screeners.
And I even looked on IMDb and Wikipedia,
Mhm.
no names. So episode 1, no name. Now, during a road trip with her cousin Bruce Banner, Jen Walters becomes She-Hulk when she is forced off the road by a spaceship. As Bruce pulls her from her car, his blood gets into her bloodstream, instantly changing her into a Hulk. Unlike Bruce, when he was first infected by the gamma rays, she can control her transformation, so there is no alter ego.
Yeah, and this first episode deals with her realization that she's a Hulk, and she learns how to control her abilities. And as she says directly to the viewer, as she breaks the fourth wall in the beginning, you're not going to be able to focus until you know how I got this way. So that's why this first episode is all about her origin story.
Mm-hmm. All right, now give us your thoughts on episode 1, No Name.
Okay, so let's see. I've already said that. So I feel like this show, because it's 30 minutes, I feel like it's very tight storytelling in a good way. And they also do a lot of showing and telling. So Jessica, she mentions that she has to maintain her fear. Like, basically, as a woman, she's, like, always monitoring the situation around her and making sure, she's always maintaining her anger and fear. And that's shown in a scene where she deals with men at a bar. Like, they're trying to get her to get a rise out of her. Yeah, pick her up, and they're mad when she doesn't, respond. And so, yeah, so that's shown. And then later on, she's talking to Bruce Banner, and he's like, "Oh, you gotta make sure your anger and fear is in check." And she's like, "Oh, well, that's the baseline of any woman just existing." So that was a fun line, and it does kind of hit you over the head with it, but with the message. But still, I thought it was great that they showed and told that as well. Yeah. What about a point for you, Richard?
Now, the Hulk has always been one of my favorite superheroes.
Oh, okay.
As a kid, always been in my top 4 favorite superheroes. I would say even above Superman.
What?
I know. Yes. But I had never read any of these She-Hulk comics, and I didn't really know anything about her. So just reading off the primer right now is filling in stuff that I had never known. And since the MCU can't really do anything with a standalone Hulk, I was happy to see She-Hulk coming down the pipeline. And I was excited to see this. And when Disney, thank you Disney, sent us the screeners, I was excited. Remember when we were watching Batman? I said, okay, we gotta pause this to watch She-Hulk.
Yeah, definitely.
I love any of the MCU's films and TV shows that references past characters.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've said in the past, let's put those away and let's move forward. We tried that with like Moon Knight. Didn't really work out.
Yeah, that's true. There's like no connection to the rest of the Marvelverse, and we all commented on that.
Yeah, and I see now that, okay, give us some references.
Mm-hmm.
And in here we have the return of Bruce Banner, who goes from we never see him as Bruce Banner. We always see him as the Hulk, as Smart Hulk.
No, there's both. He's Bruce.
Oh,
at the very beginning.
and the road trip,
the
right?
car.
And he's got this like gauntlet on that controls that so he doesn't have to turn into the Hulk. And when he gets mad, he has this controller that brings him down.
Right.
We see that Tony Stark had helped Bruce Banner build this lab in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I say Tony Stark helped him, he sat back and drank. Well, Bruce did all the work. Yes. But just mentioning some stories with Tony Stark got me excited. When Jessica, I keep wanting to call her Jessica Walters. This Jen Walters.
Okay, Jen.
When she wakes up in the lab, the first thing she sees is a damaged Iron Man helmet.
Yeah.
So those little connections really goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Moon Knight, watch She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And then in this first episode, she learns how to be a She-Hulk, learns how to control herself, and how to be a Hulk. So of course, what do you get? A training montage.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of those 80s training montage where you hear some Rocky type music in the background. It's an extended montage where Bruce is explaining to her the ins and outs of being a Hulk, and of course she being a little smarter than Bruce because she's a woman.
Yep.
She's already pulling ahead in her training, so
yeah.
Bruce goes through his training syllabus, tearing out pages.
She like skips ahead a lot. But speaking of, you were mentioning how there's nice references to the Marvelverse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just love it when characters talk about other characters in the world. So she and Bruce Banner have this whole conversation about Captain America. That's sprinkled throughout the first episode, and we won't spoil it, but it's
yeah.
lovely. Well, it's fun. Not lovely. Lovely's not the right word.
No, and it's all summed up in the tag.
Yes. Yes, and that's another thing. Make sure you wait for the tags. There's tags in every episode. So
Yeah, I think we're trained as MCU
Yes.
viewers to always stay until the lights come up in the movie theater, or Disney Plus rolls you into the next show.
Mhm.
Always stick around.
And also, this is a comedy. There's several fun little one-liners or two punches. I think my favorite one has to be when Bruce is asking her, "Who's your best friend?" And she answers him, like, "Oh,
Oh, my legal aid at the law office.
right." And he's like, "No, spandex. Spandex is your best friend." So I thought that was cute.
I love the fact that this takes place in Los Angeles and not New York.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get out of New York. It's way too overpopulated with superheroes. So Los Angeles, that's gonna be awesome when they shoot their exterior scenes.
Yes.
We can say, oh, we've been there. See Hulk running down Santa Monica Boulevard. I want to see some of that.
Yay.
Maybe they're in Hollywood. They go to the Grauman's Chinese Theater IMAX Deluxe,
That would be fun.
and they see the other characters dressed up in the costumes. Maybe they run into Thor out there,
Oh.
as played by who?
You, sweetie.
There you go. Okay, I'm just building up to that. So, She-Hulk producers, I'm available to be your Thor once again.
You still get residuals from that YouTube video.
Yes, I do.
Wasn't it last time 2 cents?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I got 2 cents from an appearance on the James Corden show when I played Thor.
That's so funny.
Once again, She-Hulk producers, I'm here. Got my phone right here. Phone's always on,
Mm-hmm.
except for right now. Now it's on.
Don Glover is asking precursor to West Coast Avengers? Possibly. Who knows where these Marvel series are leading?
Oh, that would there
be
you
neat.
go. That's gonna be real. Is it possible that Jen? Why do I keep wanting to call her Jessica Walters?
You know what? I even wrote Jessica down here. I don't know why. We both said it. It's
Jennifer Walters.
Jen.
Maybe is she the impetus for getting the Avengers to Los Angeles?
I don't
Or do they just figure
all need
there's
help.
so many of the Avengers on the East Coast that the country's kind of tipping,
Yeah,
and we need some more over here on the West Coast.
I think that's it.
Because if you've been on the West Coast, there can be a crime or two happening, especially here in Los Angeles.
Yeah. All right, so I did some digging and I found some great quotes by the series creators and director that'll help you understand like what to take from this series or what to focus on
All
as
right,
you watch.
one more thing I want to
Oh,
add.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
In the very end of the first episode, there is this little superfluous scene, you would think, where this Peg Bundy-looking character comes crashing through the courtroom, and they just leave it there. They have a little She-Hulk and Peg Bundy have a little fight, and then they roll credits. Like, what is that? And it kind of bothered me.
Oh,
Because where did that go? But
Mhm.
as you see later on, that'll build
It's
into
followed up.
another story.
got it. Okay.
Yeah, I just like answers.
You
you
didn't
don't
think that
just-
was coming back?
Don't just being in a place where everyone can have superpowers, and that's what we're seeing right now is everyone's having superpowers. So that could be very, very normal. Maybe Peg Bundy works in accounting, and she was having a bad day, so it went crashing through the office.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't it. Her story pays off later on. So when you see Peg Bundy, she's not Peg Bundy, but she looks like Peg Bundy from Married with Children.
Okay.
You'll have an idea. Okay, that was it.
Nice. All right. Well, I want to share some of the series creators' quotes so you can know what to look forward to in this series. So, Kat Coiro, who directed several of the episodes of the series and also serves as the executive producer, mentions, back in the comics, She-Hulk was always very meta, and she was always taking... Blah. Let me try that again. Back in the comics, She-Hulk was always very meta, and she was always taking control of her story and her narrative. And I think that's something that Jessica Gao really captured amazingly in the show, the essence of that spirit.
Yeah, I would say check.
Yeah, Jessica Gao is the writer. Now, Jessica Gao mentions there is an existing character who is related to her who has gone through, let me start that sentence over. Now, Jessica Gao, she's the writer of this series. She really gets to the crux of what this series is about and what they tried to showcase in this series. She says, there is an existing character who is related to She-Hulk who has gone through this exact journey. Bruce Banner. And that's kind of the crux of their relationship in this series, is seeing that they ultimately are different people who are experiencing this change in very different ways. And also, there is a double standard to how the world perceives her because she is a woman and because she is the female Hulk. The way everybody treats her is also very different than the way the world has treated him. And these are all themes that we explore in the show.
Now,
That's definitely, I think they do.
They do. I think they go maybe a little overboard with that, just to
Well,
express that point. There's
yeah.
a lot of very 1980s catcalling.
Oh.
That-
yeah, but
I'd be
there's
willing to
also
bet.
there's some online dating going on, and that was pretty hilarious and spot on.
But still, some of the pickup lines and the catcalling just went a little overboard, just to really express those themes.
Right. Yeah. All right. So then Tatiana Maslany weighs in. She is portraying Jennifer Walters.
Jennifer, not Jessica.
Jennifer. Okay. All right. And I found this very intriguing. So Tatiana says, her anger, her largeness, her taking up space in a room, all of that is fertile ground for us to play and play with it comedically too. And the duality of her two bodies I find so compelling. What is it to walk into a room as a 6'7" woman, and what is it to walk into a room as a 5'2" woman? It's treated much differently. And as a 5'3" woman, I know that version of it. I've never been 6 foot whatever, but I know I always take notice when someone tall walks in a room. So
Not only is she tall, but she's green.
she's green, yes.
And as Chris Mason says here in the Sky Chat, She-Hulk is hot.
He does say that, which is actually another reason why they're exploring this in the series. I mean, would anyone say Hulk is hot? I don't know. Not really.
Well,
But we all say that about male superheroes too, so
exactly.
you know,
I know I wouldn't disagree. In her Hulk form, she
is
very, very hot.
her hair's different.
Mm-hmm.
She's curvier. Yeah.
Yeah, but he also says, Chris Mason also says that Al Bundy thought She-Hulk was not pretty. Oh boy. Well, it's Al Bundy. Come on. I think it's the very first time we've ever referenced Al and Peg Bundy on this show.
Yeah, I never really watched that show. I'm sorry.
Oh, you missed out.
I don't think so.
All right. Now, do you want to give your overall thoughts on the series without giving anything away?
Yes. Since we've seen 4 episodes, we have quite a handle on this series. And I feel like the fourth wall breaks, they definitely have this throughout the series. And they're a little jarring at first, but then I think it's really cute as you settle into the groove of the show and it works. So give this show definitely 2 or 3 episodes to have it settle in a good way.
Yeah, okay. For me, I would say this is and the MCU is very good with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very different kind of show.
The tone.
The tone, and I think just the genre, the way that WandaVision just went from 0 to 60. And then you have other shows, I would say, like Miss Marvel went in a whole different way.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that they are different. Mark Ruffalo wasn't wrong when he said the Marvel shows are very different from one another. Of course, you got things like Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah, kind of very same tone. But this She-Hulk is a kind of show where doesn't take much to follow along.
Right.
Whereas with Miss Marvel and Moon Knight, you had to really focus on all these names and all of these realities and timelines. This doesn't deal with any of that. It's like Solo. You can sit back and watch and not have to worry about too much of the other branches of the saga to fully enjoy.
Yeah, and I agree with that because we watched the first episode, Richard, and then we got into our Batman kick, and then it was like a week later when we started watching the last 3 episodes, but then we wanted to watch this first episode again so we could do this, prepare for you guys, and I was happy to watch it again. I was like, oh, this show is like super rewatchable because it's really fun. You get more each time you watch, even though it is a little bit of a fluff piece. There's not a lot going on, and yet there's little references or little things you might miss the first time that, and then they start to make sense even as you've watched 4 episodes in. We watch the first episode and there's things that pop up later that if you weren't paying attention.
Like Peg Bundy.
Yes.
I'll never get over that. Now, would you prefer a show like She-Hulk rather than a show like, I would say, Miss Marvel? To me, that I liked Miss Marvel, but there was so much to keep track of.
You're very right. I honestly think She-Hulk is a bit more enjoyable on a level of sit back, watch, chill. Right?
Yeah. It is
right.
what it is.
Ms.
Yeah.
Marvel was very intense. Like, you had to be like hyper focused to get everything going on. And it's fun, but I don't feel a craving to like watch that again right away. Whereas She-Hulk, I was happy to do that.
Yeah.
And also, you don't think this show is like a half-hour comedy.
Not whatsoever.
But I feel it is because each episode follows a pattern. It may not be the pattern of a half-hour comedy, like syndicated series, but it follows its own pattern. There's a problem, she resolves it, or thinks she does, but at the end it always blows up in her face, and then the story ends up going in a new direction. So I feel like that's the pattern of this show, and they follow that very nicely, and I like it a lot.
Now, when they keep saying a 30-minute comedy, you tend to think sitcom.
Yes.
So this is not a sitcom the way WandaVision was when she was in her head, in her mind,
Right.
in what she was creating. It's nothing like that. And once
I just
again,
feel like it
I'm
follows
going to
a
go back
pattern.
to the dramedy label rather.
Okay. I think it's
Yeah,
a
it's
comedy.
more like Ally McBeal. Not that I've ever seen Ally McBeal, but I know enough about it that it's a drama and it's a comedy.
Okay.
This is not a straight sitcom comedy. No, not whatsoever.
I think it's its own version of it's the Marvel version of a sitcom.
Nope.
And I like it.
Nope. No, it's not.
It is. And it also makes great fun of how our society is today. Just like the comics did in the 90s, making fun of
Oh,
that
yeah.
cover. Today, they make fun of the social media dating. Because one of the social media dating, because one of the things is Jen is single in her 30s. And so that's part of this series and part of her working on that.
It holds up a mirror to society.
Yes. Oh my God.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
And it may over-exaggerate some of that.
That's very true. But what is Hulk? She-Hulk, if not an over-exaggeration. Even her name. Even She-Hulk. The name. Oh, we won't spoil that. But
do superheroes ever name themselves? No.
No. You'll
It's
see.
always the media.
Yeah. All right, anything else?
I think that is about it without giving anything away to the next couple of episodes.
Okay. But we do have a list of things you may want to refamiliarize yourself with or watch to prepare, or maybe watch some YouTube videos, right?
Yeah.
So, first up, familiarize yourself with the plot of The Incredible Hulk from 2008, the Edward Norton one. Specifically Abomination.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we had no idea.
But when we saw him, it's like, we know we've seen him in another film. What was it?
Yeah. And this is teased this is like in all the notes. This is not a spoiler because we've seen all the materials of She-Hulk that Marvel has put out has mentioned
All
that
the press releases.
Emil Blonsky will be here in
Right.
return. So yeah. All right. Also, another thing you might want to watch or familiarize yourself is Doctor Strange, because Wong shows up and he's been in a number of film and series leading up to She-Hulk. But if you haven't seen the original Doctor Strange or haven't seen it in a while, that's where his character first appears, and you get an overall viewpoint of his character. And he also plays a similar role in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And that movie's always a great watch. So if you want to, watch those two again.
And then on Disney Plus, you can catch up with Daredevil.
Yes.
Because Daredevil will make an appearance in She-Hulk. And since they're both lawyers, will they combine forces? Will they be opposing forces? Oh. And then in a spin-off episode, it's going to be She-Hulk versus Daredevil versus Saul Goodman.
That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
Also, for Bruce Banner, he refers to various things in his past. So if you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok in a while or Endgame in a while, those might be good movies to watch as well.
All right, now where does this fall so far in your top favorite list of MCU shows?
This is hard to answer right now because we're just, in the middle of the series. I think it's very enjoyable and rewatchable, though, which pushes it up for me. But I'd have to actually sit down and make a list now because there's been so many series.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think it's really fun. I think it would sit like number 4 right now.
Okay.
I still love WandaVision and Loki. Those are my top 2. But it sits pretty close.
Okay.
What about you?
I would say WandaVision, Loki, and She-Hulk.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're kind of similar
Mhm.
taste there. Okay.
So Skywalkers, what are your thoughts on She-Hulk? Let us know. We are very eager to hear your opinions.
Yes. All right, guess what, you guys?
What?
It's time for our Magic Key discussion. Woo! All right.
In Things We Want to Share. And shoutouts.
Nice. And we're going to combine these because guess what? You guys have a lot to say about Magic Keys.
Mhm,
And the
mhm.
renewal process and the whole newly announced prices and everything.
And Things We Want to Share and shoutouts, they very evenly roll into each other
They do.
for this episode. So let's start off with Carl Fox, who says on Patreon, I was listening to classic Marvel Star Wars comics and was like, oh man, this is so much fun. The production value, discussions, everything on your feed is just so good. I just wanted to say thank you for putting the effort in and for so much great podcast content.
Wow, Carl.
Aw.
And he upped his pledge. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah, we really, really appreciate that. And speaking of the other shows on our network, let's give a little review on the recent
roundup.
episodes, a roundup of our Skynet network
Okay.
episodes.
All right, sure. So first up, the Neverland Clubhouse. So I am on that with Courtney and Kelly Turkel, and they recently returned from a 10-day vacation at Walt Disney World. So the last 2 episodes are rounding up their whole vacation, all the new things you can do at Walt Disney World, plus lots of tips. It's really, really good episodes.
And on the most recent Max Effects podcast, Max takes you through the process of making his Master Com cosplay outfit for Star Wars Celebration Anaheim and what it took to get into that suit.
Wow.
And he also pays tribute to his mentor, special effects artist Greg Jean, who worked on Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1941, Star Trek, and Greg had just passed away, so Max wanted to give him a nice tribute and recall some favorite memories of Greg.
Yeah.
And then on the recent Talking Apes, what? Talking Apes? Yes, Talking Apes is back. Coming this week, we're going to do an Ask Me Anything episode with Bobby Porter. And Bobby answers tons of questions that listeners had sent in about being a stuntman on Planet of the Apes, E.T., Terminator, Prancer, the Star Wars-inspired show Quirk, working with Robin Williams on Jumanji, and so many stories. And that episode will be out this Friday, August the 19th.
Wow. What else is on our YouTube channel?
Well, on the latest Collectopolis episode, Kevin and Ernie talk Transformer collecting with Charles Olenek.
Excellent. Also on our YouTube show, just published today, is My Princess and the Scoundrel review. It's a book by Beth Revis, and I'm doing YouTube reviews on that now because people seem to like that a lot, and I'm loving all your comments there too. So hopefully you pick up this book or the audiobook, which I go into. It has a dual narration. It's really neat, and you can find that link in the comments to that video.
And then on the latest on the latest Star Wars ologies, they go into the science of Jurassic Park, more on Star Wars
And the Mandalorian.
and the Mandalorian.
His armor.
And these were panels that they had hosted at Comic-Con, and they turned them into podcast episodes. So lots and lots of great stuff on the Skywalking Network.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Our network is rocking, you guys, so
And those
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Those are just the recent episodes. So
They
I think
are.
maybe every week or every time another show is put out, every once a month, we'll give another recap.
Yeah, I think we should.
We want you, Skywalkers, to check them out if you're not already doing so.
All right, are we ready to talk Magic Keys?
Yes, finally!
Oh my gosh, so our Magic Keys have been expiring on September 2nd. And here it is, August 15th, halfway through August, and we still can't make reservations beyond September 2nd. We can't make reservations for D23 Expo. Everyone, the Twitterverse, the Disney people, we're all going up in arms. And finally, we get an announcement today, August 16th, that Magic Key renewals are happening.
And these are the Disney annual passes for those who don't know.
Yes, thank you. Disneyland.
Disneyland,
Only. Yes.
yes.
This is just Disneyland. This is not Walt Disney World. So there is some new info. There's some new changes. So let's go over this. Now, also, you in the comments here in the Sky Chat, let us know what are your thoughts on these Magic Keys. If you are going to purchase, if you're not going to purchase, and why. And we'll share that as well.
All right, let me know when you're going to go over the prices, because I want to block my ears. I told Sarah, just go ahead and order them. I don't want to know how much. Just go ahead.
Yes. Okay. All right. Hold on. I did that. All right. So the big news is there is now no pass with 0 blockout dates. So every pass has some sort of blockout, and the Dream Key, which formerly was the highest tier pass, has been retired. So instead, the top pass is now called the Inspire Key, and it is, cover your ears, and it is $200 more than the previous Dream Key, and includes 12 blockout dates from December 21st to January 1st. However, it has more perks now. So parking has been included with this top tier pass. However, parking is more expensive now. It's $30 every time you go, right? Yeah, I mean that price went up before December.
We haven't paid for parking, so I never looked at that price.
Right. So parking is now $30 every time you go. So figure it out. If you go 2 times a month and you multiply 24 times 30, that's already $720. So already that's like half the pass being paid for already through parking.
That's a mortgage payment.
It really is. Okay, so this pass also includes 6 reservations. That was like it has 20% off merchandise, 15% off food, but the new perks are we get new unlimited photo pass downloads. Now this was something that was in the annual pass baked in, but that was not present for the previous Magic Keys that we've just had for a year. So I really like this because I like taking pictures when we go to the parks.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's fun to share. It's fun to do the photo pass stuff. So I'm very glad that that's back.
Now go back to the 6 reservations.
Yes. So we will still be able to make reservations for our annual passes. You cannot go on a day and just show up. You have to make your reservation, right?
Right.
And so you can hold 6 reservations at one time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that's what's been previously.
Mm-hmm.
So the other new thing that they're introducing with this pass is that you can now get 20% off your Genie Plus for the day. Now this is a $20 per person thing if you want to purchase this. So that means what's 20% off $20? $4? So that's $4
yes.
off a day. Okay. So, but regardless, everyone loves a discount, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say, like Richard, you and I were going in for the evening. Well, we're not going to get Genie Plus that day. But let's say my parents are coming to town and we take them for the day. Well, we get Genie Plus for everyone and we save some money on that. So that way you can, yeah.
I like the way you say save some money when talking about these
Yeah.
what do you call them? Magic Key? No, what are they called now?
Magic Keys. This is the Inspire
The Inspire
Pass. pass.
Yes.
There's no longer any dreams at Disneyland. No dreams.
Right now, if Disney's listening to this, they're like, oh, why didn't we think this through? We should have known at some point someone was going to say that.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny. All right, Don Glover is weighing in saying, not going to get one, live in Seattle, can't afford to go down often enough to make it worth getting a pass. Totally understandable. Yeah.
Right. These are really for California residents.
They really are. And in fact, some of the lower tiers are California resident only.
Yeah, and for those who live close by, like Vegas
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or...
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think the 2 lower tier passes, which are the cheapest ones, you can only buy if you're like SoCal.
Right.
Right. So,
Yeah.
All right. Now, the remaining 3 passes, 3 tiers of passes, they're each successively cheaper. Each include more and more blockout dates as you go, lower. But they are including, so the Believe key, which is the next tier down, includes 50% off parking. 50% off parking and 10% off merchandise and food. And you also get the free PhotoPass downloads with that Believe key, which is nice. All right, now the Enchant and Imagine keys. So the Imagine is the lowest tier, and that is $449. So
I think you could buy a decade at Universal Studios for $449.
I know. All right, so those 2, the Enchant and Imagine Pass, have a new perk, which is they get 25% off parking only at the Toy Story parking structure, which is interesting.
Which is across the street.
Yeah.
You gotta take a bus to get to Disney.
I find that very intriguing. They want to limit the amount of people going to the Mickey and Friends parking structure.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah. And all levels include 20% off that Genie Plus for the day. So they really want you to buy into this Genie Plus by doing that.
Okay.
So that's I'm not going to mention all the prices because I know Richard doesn't want to hear it. So
Oh, I don't.
so y'all can look that up. So with this in mind, what will you do, Skywalkers? What do you think? Oh, and this is another thing. You can only get these new Magic Key passes if you already have a Magic Key. So you can only renew right now. They're not opening this up to new Magic Key pass holders at the moment.
Boy, I think you should have led with that.
Yeah.
That is very, very important to know.
It is very important. At least through August 31st is the messaging. And Disney is also very clear in all their messaging, making sure that you know that these could sell out at any time and that your particular pass level may not be available when you want to renew. So
I know we have friends like, hey, next time I go, then I'll renew.
Yeah.
Why renew now if I'm not going to go for another month?
Yeah. No, do it.
Don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you had posted this in our Facebook group and got a lot of comments. You Skywalkers, you had a lot to say.
You're very passionate about your passes, which I understand. So Courtney Turkel says, I kind of like it, even though I don't like that they raised the prices, but we are starting to get a little more perks for our buck. Which is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Brian Babcock says, I'm priced out. I go about 12 times a year and only on weekends. Assuming they will keep the California resident tickets going, I would need to go 13 to 14 times a year for the Inspire key to be worth it.
Yeah, and that's a valid point, Brian. Especially on the weekends, it is harder to get those weekend dates. So yeah.
So there's always Knott's Berry Farm and the aforementioned Universal Studios.
Indeed. And in fact, this comes up later. You know what? Let's go down the list because I don't want to jump around. But that comes up later, the Universal Studios. So Kelly Turkel says, I like the discount on Genie Plus. Yeah, and I know you Turkels, you usually go for the day and you usually get Genie Plus. So it definitely works for you guys. Now, Chad Pennycuff, our friend from My DVC Points, says, I'm still salty about being unfavorable and lack of AP for DVC members. Yet, in the same investors call, when things soften up, Disney calls in the unfavorables for their money. So he's salty. Yeah, in the latest investors call.
Okay, so break that down.
Okay. In the latest Disney investors call, which happened, I believe, last Thursday, just like a week ago, Disney said that there is an unfavorable mix in the parks of people.
Why do they keep saying these stupid things during
Well,
these investor calls? Isn't this when
Yeah.
that one woman say that they're gonna
And
shrink down the portions? Because
Yeah.
if you look at some of the people in the parks,
Yeah. Yeah.
why would they say things
So
like that?
now I've listened to some other people talk about this. Laughing Place specifically has read into the financial reports of for the previous 20 years of Disney, and usually in the financial reports they'll say wording like that, but for the investor call they'll reword it so it doesn't sound so bad. Well, they didn't do that this time.
Not whatsoever.
Yeah.
As Courtney says in the Sky Chat, they have no business calling anyone unfavorable.
So Chad is saying, I'm still salty about being unfavorable. And he's also a DVC member, so there's, I guess, they don't have a specific AP for them, which they've had in the past. So, which I understand.
And the fact that we keep going back to Disney
Yeah.
after they insult us like this.
I know, it's true.
So they know that we can get away with it.
Yeah. So Rick Peralta says, love that we get the photos, hate the price increase. The blackouts don't have a huge impact on us. Yep, very valid. All right, now Jeremy Stevenson weighs in saying he's out of town. He makes a trip to the parks every few years, so this program doesn't apply, but it's very interesting watching what those who are affected think of the program. Oh, Jeremy, just stay on social media. Watch us all.
All right, let's wrap it up with Wynn Patterson.
Okay. After 15 years, the lack of attention to maintenance detail that was so important to Walt Disney has sent me over the edge. While I fully understand the hiring difficulties with the money, half the money, I would have invested in keys, I can check up on Walt's dream several times a year, hopefully repeating again and again. The happy circumstance of running into my favorite podcasting couple. I am somewhere between sad and disappointed, but there you have it.
Yeah, before the pre-pandemic, Disney was top notch in their customer service. Now you ask someone where something is, and they'll say, "I don't know," or "I think it's over there," which sends me right over the edge. Because when I was in retail, my boss said, "You ever say that, you're out of here."
Yeah.
And that's what Walt Disney ever said. I always said. So when someone says something like that, it's like, where's the old Disney touch? You guys are no longer cast. Now, this is not a blanket statement. There are a lot of cast members who are like, hey, you know what? I don't know that answer, but I'm going to find out. There's a lot of those, but there's been way too many circumstances where you ask someone where something is, and they say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable for a Disney park to begin with. And now after the price increase, I never want to hear, I don't know, again.
Now, I do have to say that Disney does have to be careful because there are different parks in the Southern California area that may take people's money. Knott's Berry Farm has incredible food. They have Knott's Scary Farm. But I just want to say, we've gotten several comments, like Jamie Alice Capo's comment here, and she says, I feel like this pass system and the reservation system in general is a work in progress. Based on the offerings of Magic Key, I would rather plan a few really awesome visits than buy a pass. Universal, on the other hand, with Super Mario Land coming out, might be worth buying a pass for. So yeah, the parks are competing.
Yeah, that is rumored to take a lot of business away from Disney.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm not sure if you noticed this, but kids these days, they love a video game.
Oh, yes.
Not just kids, adults as well.
Mario Brothers! I play those games.
Oh, boy. But when we were last at Universal, Kelly and Courtney pointed out that where the land was going to be, it's not that big.
I'm sure once you get in it, and they probably have the rides that are more, visual on the screen.
Yeah,
right.
It's not the actual roller coaster, but like the Minion Mayhem where you're pretty much sitting in one spot.
Yeah.
And like the Simpsons ride.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on, because I'm getting a little upset with Disney right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I never want to get there.
I know. So we usually get one of the top tier passes so that we can get the highest discount stuff, but then the other one of us gets a lower tier, and that way we kind of maintain our price level. And also, we do save up every year. We use our credit card points to buy at least one pass with points. So we're not actually investing that amount of money. We're
Yeah.
So we've thought about this. We're pretty smart about doing that. So I know we're gonna keep getting our magic key because we go there, we cover it for you guys.
Yeah.
And it's like our country club, right?
Mhm.
So rather than spend money on a country club or some kind of gym membership or something, we go to Disney.
And every time I see that Millennium Falcon in Galaxy's Edge, all my worries just go away.
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap up this segment, tell everyone once again about your Princess and the Scoundrel review.
Yes, so this book is by Beth Revis. What are you pointing to?
I'm pointing to the press release.
What
if
are you
wanted
pointing to?
Look where I'm pointing.
Oh.
I saw you looking around like you're trying to find some information.
I was trying to find the book, which has been floating around, but I don't know where it is right now. Yeah, no. So this book is by Beth Revis. It just came out from Del Rey, and it follows Han and Leia right after the Battle of Endor. And I did a whole YouTube review on this book. It's spoiler free, so head there to our YouTube channel to hear it and maybe see some fun Easter eggs from the Halcyon and our videos there on the Galactic Star Cruiser. Yeah, it's a fun video. I put it together. Got some fun little fun things. Maybe Elsa shows up. I don't know. Gotta go watch.
Well, that wraps up episode 384 of Skywalking Through Neverland. And once again, Skywalkers, we would love to hear your thoughts on She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
And Magic Keys. Now, are you interested in our book, Today in Star Wars History?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it is now available on Amazon for domestic or international shipping, and that link is in our show notes. And if you'd like an autographed copy, it's available at skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
All right, here's an update on Volume 2. Last week, I was still polishing and rewriting October. I just crossed into November.
Woo!
So close to being to the end of the year. And Sarah is already designing and working on the layout. Peter, Sarah's dad, is editing, and Michael Coate is fact-checking. So
we are hard at work, y'all.
this is in progress, and every day I've got to watch episodes of the Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance, Mandalorian Season 1 and 2, Ewoks and Droids, and all new Ewoks. So guess what I'm doing pretty much 23 hours of the day.
He's watching all these fun things and making sure the write-up is absolutely fabulous.
So there's probably another 50 episodes I got to watch before getting to the end of the year.
Wow.
So let's quickly wrap up so I can go back to watching
Okay.
all new Ewoks.
All right, well, we have to thank our sponsor, Small World Vacations, for their support. Are you thinking of a trip to Disney parks? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check it out and tell them that Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Now, would you like to support Skywalking Through Neverland?
I would.
Well, there are many, many ways to do this. One, you can consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, our Patreon. The Skywalking Force has access to bonus content in the form of our Zoom discussions on the latest Disney Plus shows. Starting, this week?
Yes.
We'll be doing one for She-Hulk.
Yes. And this bonus content begins at only $5 a month, so head to skywalkingforce.com and have a look at the options. We want to thank those of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force. Thank you so much. Also, just so you know, we do these Zoom discussions every week when a Marvel or Star Wars show is out on Disney Plus, and those Zoom discussions are open to anyone. You do not have to be part of the Skywalking Force. You just have to be following us in our Facebook group to make sure that you get the Zoom link for that. And then you can join us. We would love to hear your thoughts. We have fun discussions. They are recorded, and then the audio is later we put it out as a podcast episode for the Skywalking Force.
And how else can the Skywalker support the network? Well, you can go over there to our Instagrams and subscribe if you already haven't. Please, please, please like our videos and subscribe on YouTube. Once again, the more comments and likes we get and subscribers, the higher we get in the algorithms. And we're almost at that cusp of 5,600. So let's make it by next episode that we get into that 5,600 number.
Yeah, go to YouTube, Skywalking Through Neverland.
Now, we are part of the Skywalking Network,
Skynet.
where you can find other great shows like the aforementioned Talking Apes,
The aforementioned Max Effects podcast.
the aforementioned Neverland Clubhouse.
It's a weird word. The aforementioned.
I love that word.
Totally Tell Me Everything.
Well, we didn't mention that one yet.
Oh, yeah.
The aforementioned Star Warsologies.
And the YouTube shows
No,
Collectopolis.
do it right. Because we had mentioned
Oh, did we?
Collectopolis. Yes, we did.
And the YouTube shows the aforementioned Collectopolis.
And Today in Star Wars History.
Oh my goodness. All right, Skywalkers. Wow. Well, don't forget to stick around for bloopers, other fun bits that didn't make it in the show. And if you did not see our live YouTube recording, you missed out on some fun pre-roll. We're just saying. We didn't record that.
And stick update. I still haven't found it yet.
No, and you won't. Because now Hey Hey is hiding it.
And always remember,
Neverland on Alderaan. All right, you guys.
there you have it. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. All right, dinner time.
Okay. That's right. Oh my gosh, it is dinner time. Holy cow. All right,
Getting
guys.
punchy.
Guess what? We're going to have dinner.
You know what we should do sometime?
What?
Remember those? You can pause it.
Pause or stop?
Stop. Remember back in the pandemic era when we would just do like a Saturday night party?
Yeah.
We should do those again. Just
Like trivia.
not so much trivia, but just come on. We did like a show and tell,
Oh, yeah.
and we just talked about whatever we wanted to talk about.
That's right. We did a show. Yeah, it would be good to do a different system where people could come on screen, though, right? Like a Zoom.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right.
All right. Oh, my goodness.
All right. Well, that was infectious.